Hi, my name is Jennifer Frank, and I'm going to talk to you today about the European Union. Some of the contents that I will be discussing are the EU flag, the EU motto, the EU anthem, member countries, the languages, the euro, education, family, fundamental rights, health, and culture. The history of the flag goes back to 1955. In 1983, the European Parliament adopted the flag. In 1985, it was adopted by all EU leaders as the official emblem of the European Union. The symbol of the flag is not only of the European Union, but also of Europe's unity and identity in a wider sense. The flag consists of 12 golden stars in a circle on a blue background. The stars symbolize the ideals of unity, solidarity, and harmony among the people of Europe. The Council of Europe adopted the present design for their own use. The EU motto is United in Diversity. It first came into use in the year 2000. This signifies how the Europeans have come together in the form of the EU to work for peace and prosperity, while at the same time enriched by the continent's many different cultures, traditions, and languages. The EU anthem. The melody used for the anthem comes from the Ninth Symphony. This was composed in 1823 by Ludwig van Beethoven. It symbolizes not only the European Union, but also in Europe's wider sense. In 1972, the Council of Europe adopted Beethoven's Ode to Joy theme as the anthem. In 1985, it was adopted by the EU leaders as the official anthem of the EU. This doesn't replace the national anthem of each individual country, rather, it celebrates the values they share. Here's a map of the member countries. The European Union is made up of 28 European countries. There were 6 countries that were the founding members that started in 1952. They were the Netherlands, Luxembourg, Germany, Belgium, France, and Italy. The other countries that entered the European Union started in 1973 with Denmark, Ireland, and the United Kingdom. Next in 1981 was Greece. Then next in 1986 was Portugal and Spain. In 1995, Austria, Finland, and Sweden. In 2004, Cyprus, the Czech Republic, and Estonia. Hungary, Latvia, Lithuania, Malta, Poland, Slovakia, and Slovenia. In 2007, Bulgaria and Romania, and in 2013, Croatia. There are 25 official EU languages of the European Union, and here's a list of them. There's Bulgarian, Croatian, Czech, Danish, Dutch, and English, Estonia, Finnish, French, German, and Greek, Hungarian, Irish, Italian, Latvian, Lithuanian, Maltese, Polish, Portuguese, Romanian, Slovak, Slovene, Spanish, and Swedish. As an EU citizen, you communicate with the EU institutions in any of these 24 languages, and you are entitled to receive a reply in the same language. Information on their website cannot be provided in every official language. The EU is the home of more than 60 indigenous, regional, or minority languages spoken by around 40 million people. The EU is the home. Their one goal of the EU is multilingualism, and the policy is for every European to speak at least 2 additional languages in addition to their home language. They have a language policy, and this is the role of the European Commission, and they are to help coordinate with national governments to pursue the aims of multilingualism and pursue the objectives of the language strategy. They are also feel that foreign languages are essential to ensuring that the European citizens are able to move, work, and learn freely throughout Europe. This in turn will contribute to the development of jobs and growth, reducing unemployment and increasing living standards. Next is the euro. The euro is the most tangible proof of European integration. The euro is used by 18 out of the 28 countries, and the benefits of the common currency are obvious to anyone traveling abroad or shopping online on websites based in another EU country. The 18 countries that use the euro are Austria, Belgium, Cyprus, Estonia, Finland, France, Germany, Greece, Ireland, Italy, Latvia, Luxembourg, Malta, the Netherlands, Portugal, Slovakia, Slovenia, and Spain. The next area I'm going to talk about is education. Each EU country is responsible for its own education and training systems. The EU does support them to set joint goals and share good practices. It has a flagship program called the Erasmus+. Erasmus+ seeks to tackle youth unemployment and boost skills and employability. Erasmus+ total budget is 14.7 billion euros, which is a 40% increase. It will help over 4 million people. The program will also help over 125,000 organizations to work with peers in other countries to innovate and modernize teaching practices and youth work. Erasmus+ replaces 7 existing EU programs in these fields, simplifying access to funding. They also have an Europass, which is their standard CV. A Europass is a set of documents that help people present their skills and qualifications in a standard Europe-wide format. The Europass makes it easier for employers to understand qualifications from other countries and for workers to apply for jobs abroad. Through the Copenhagen process, European countries, trade unions, and employers cooperate to improve vocational and educational training. The Bologna process helps launch the European higher education area and aims to make it easier to move between education systems in Europe. They do this by promoting mutual recognition of periods of study, comparable qualifications, and uniform quality standards. The next area that I will talk about is family and children. Mothers and fathers are responsible for their children's upbringing, education, and home. In all EU countries, the mother automatically has parental responsibility for her child, as does the father. In most cases, parents have joint responsibility. For unmarried fathers, the rules on their rights and duties differ per country. The rules for custody and visiting rights are unique to each country. National laws determine who will have custody, whether single or shared. In a divorce or separation, it is best for the parents to decide if the children will live with one parent or with both. If no agreement is reached, the court decides. Marriage. The next area I'm going to talk about is couples. Marriage is a legal status in all EU countries. Different rules apply for partnership other than marriage. National rules and practices for marriage differ from one country to another. In several EU countries, you can make your partnership official without getting married in the form of a registered partnership, sometimes called a civil partnership. Differences between EU countries for registered partners are huge in terms of not only the possibilities they offer, but also the extent which partnerships contracted abroad are recognized, if at all. Registered partnerships are comparable in marriage in some, but not all EU countries. Unmarried couples have certain EU-wide rights even if you have not registered your partnership with any authority. In the EU countries which recognize unmarried couples, you will have the rights and obligations concerning property, inheritance, and maintenance payments following a separation. However, most EU countries have not defined exactly how you can prove a long-term relationship or cohabitation. Reasons for which you can file for divorce or legal separation can vary greatly from one EU country to another. You can request a divorce or legal separation either together with your partner as a joint application, or you can file the request alone. The next area I'll discuss is fundamental rights. The Charter of Fundamental Rights in the EU brings together in a single document the fundamental rights protected in the EU. The Charter contains rights and freedoms under 6 titles: dignity, freedoms, equality, solidarity, citizens' rights, and justice. The EU decided to clarify the rights in a single document, which has been updated in the light of changes in the society. The Charter is consistent with the European Convention on Human Rights adopted in the framework of the Council of Europe. The Charter strengthens the protection of fundamental rights by making these rights more visible and more explicit for citizens. Health. The EU health policy seeks to give all people living in the EU access to high-quality health care. It aims to prevent illness and disease, promote healthier lifestyles, and protect people from health threats such as epidemics. Culture. The EU supports arts and creative industry through programs to help them make most of the EU market in digital technologies, funding, helps with research projects, supports for cooperation with EU and non-EU partners. Many EU policies are linked to culture, such as education, scientific research, support for IT and communication technologies, social policy, and regional development. The Creative Europe program offers safeguards and promotes Europe's cultural, linguistic diversity and cultural richness. It contributes to the EU's goal of smart, sustainable, and inclusive economic growth. It helps the arts and creative sectors adapt to the digital age and globalization, and it opens up new international opportunity markets and audiences. It also promotes economic development. Do we have any questions? Thank you.